So Monty's a terrific little school. They're open to trying new things. We actually set up 6 student action teams. 5 student action teams and 1 parent action team. So student action teams have been around for over a decade. Roger Holdsworth, who's a failed retiree, I was working with him yesterday, established them, and it's looking at the fact that students have valuable skills and can do meaningful and important things in their schools. Even with the talk with teachers yesterday, we were talking about the concept of students evaluating teachers, and some of the teachers found that a bit shocking until we all remembered that when we were in primary school and high school, we all knew who kind of the garbage teachers were as well. So students have certain knowledge that teachers might not have, and we can use that knowledge within the school. What Monty did that's a bit interesting is they actually let me set up a parent action team, which is the same thing, get a group of parents to work on an issue that the parents thought was interesting. So what happens is you get about 5 or 6 kids or parents in a team, and you start off with wondering. So the concept with this was like respect for relationships, gender equity. So that's the broad thing, but you can really do it with anything. What do we wonder? What do we know? Who can we ask are the 3 questions. So the kids were stuff like, well, we wonder why there's not many girls in the coding club. We wonder whether boys and girls can be friends without being teased. We wonder if boys and girls share sporting grounds on school equally. We wonder about these things. What do we know? Well, we know this stuff. Who can we ask? The parents were a bit shocked, I think, because they thought they were going to be working with their kids. And then they got there, I'm like, oh, no, you're working together. Yeah, so they had to kind of adjust to that a little bit, but they did really well. Great job. And they wondered a few things. The first thing they wondered was why when they have working bees, the dads are all outside and the mums are all inside, but they weren't going to tackle that as their first issue. They wondered what words parents were using to praise their kids. Yeah, so that's what they wondered. The point of the parent action team is to actually also link between what the school's doing and that whole pick-up time, drop-off time discussion that happens. And you mentioned briefly about backlash, but there was questions and concerns our parent group had that when I went and talked to the principal about them, she's like, well, no one's ever talked to me about that. Yeah. Do you want me to go on and tell about the survey?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, go on.
So our parent action team came up with a survey. They administered it to all students grade 3, 4, 5, 6, and it had a list of 30 words. What words are used to praise you, basically? And they gave it to all the kids, and kids really like doing a survey. They're much better than adults in that way. So they were all super keen to fill it in, and they got the results, and about 3 of the words were very similar, okay, which says a little bit, I think, about Monty. It's a pretty good school already in thinking about this stuff, but there are also some words that were different. Then they asked the kids, well, are you happy? Are you happy about the words that are used to praise you? 60% of kids said, yeah, I'm really happy, but 40%, which is a significant amount, said, no, I'd like different words. The girls wanted fast and strong, and the boys wanted honest. Yeah. And if you think about the way that we can talk and treat kids at a primary school level, you know, girls are pretty little dress, you've got your hair, yeah, and we maybe don't focus on that sporting stuff as much, although that's clearly changing. But again, if you look at expulsion and, rates of expulsion and that amongst young men are treated for acting out a lot more than young women. So it was interesting that these boys were like, I want to be seen as honest. I want to be seen like as I'm a good guy. So that was really interesting. And then the next step, they're doing it again this year, so we'll build on what we've got. The next step is, okay, how do we start to set some challenges for the parent community in a way that's not too confronting about thinking about the words you use around their kids. And even me, I mean, I'm in this sector, but it was interesting even that weekend I saw my niece and nephew, and I immediately went to say to my niece, oh, don't you have a pretty dress on? I was like, oh, hang on, I never say stuff like that to my nephew. So even for me, it was making me just double think the words that I was using outside of the program. Yeah, so 2 main ways. They did the whole send stuff home in the communication folder, and they got some parents who put their hand up straight away. But then, of course, probably with most schools, they tapped a couple of parents on the shoulder who they thought might be interested and might be keen. So we had 5 parents, 4 mums and 1 dad, who came along. We did 2 training sessions first with the students all together, so they also had to play ball games and stuff like that. It's been a while since some of those parents have played any of those games. And then they worked in teams together around their question. The thing that they found, even at the time working with the students in the room, so we do an activity where like agree, disagree, whatever else, and agree, disagree, if a boy's sad at school, he can cry. And even our boys, our beautiful, gentle boys, were like, oh, no, you can't really do that. And it was so interesting watching these parents' reactions, like they were almost teary, like they didn't realise that we still weren't quite there. Do you know what I mean? So that was pretty cool, because then that's the thing they can go and talk about at pick-up time. Like, you know, no, we're not, it's not, you know, we're not Andrew Bolt, we're not freaking out here. We just say that if boy's sad, he should be able to cry, and if a girl wants to be fast, she should be able to be fast.